What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. It's Friday afternoon here, about 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to basically just go over all the practice reports, and I usually record this video on Wednesdays, but I wanted to push it back to Friday because it's playoff season. I want to be as accurate as I can with some of these with these tags on the questionable and the everything that goes with it. So we will get into it. I did put a link in the description if you want to follow along and look at the start sit charts for yourself. But let's go ahead and hop into it. I did put these. This is the DraftKings Sportsbook spread team total game totals. I'm going to update this later today, so this should be good to go for the weekend. But use this to kind of just see which teams are projected to score more points or the fewest points here. It's a really handy tool. And then, of course, we have Green Bay, Chicago, Washington, Atlanta, Indianapolis, and New Orleans all on bye. That Raiders-Rams game was a complete weird game. Baker Mayfield played really well. But anyways, let's look at the first game on the list here, the Jets at Buffalo. I think for fantasy football, both teams are relatively healthy. On the Buffalo side, you're using Josh Allen, you're using Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is the true question mark here. He's more of a low-end flex play. I don't think he's a must-start wide receiver 3. He did struggle against the Jets earlier in the year. I think he only had 2 for 33 in that game, so he's not a great play. Let me know if you have questions on Gabe Davis. And then with the emergence of James Cook the last couple weeks, it puts a question mark on Devin Singletary. He's not. I mean, I've been marking him as a running back 2 all season long until this week. So he's more of a low-end RB2 flex play. I think James Cook's a decent PPR play as a running back 2 flex. And then Isaiah McKenzie. At this point, I think I'd rather play McKenzie over Gabe Davis in full PPR. So all these guys, truly question marks with flex decisions. And I think as long as you play PPR leagues, that's going to make McKenzie Cook more valuable. I'm open to starting that Bills defense. We're going to leave Naheem and Dawson Knox on the bench. On the Jets side, Mike White, he's been slinging it. I don't expect him to have an amazing game. The Bills defense is still pretty good, but he should get enough volume to be a kind of a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. Garrett Wilson remains a must-start wide receiver 3. He's been playing kind of like a wide receiver 1 since Mike White emerged. So we love Garrett Wilson. Get him in your lineups. And then the running back situation with the practice reports today, it looks like Michael Carter is going to be good to go. He isn't even on the injury report here. So that's fantastic news. I think Michael Carter is going to be just fine for this one. So he's a fringe RB2 flex play. He's more of a PPR play. And then the guy that's been surging here is Zonovan Knight. He's been a really good ball carrier and a passing down back. So I like Knight. He's going to be the number 2 here. They're going to do some kind of tandem with these guys. So both guys, RB2 flex plays. Say no to the Jets defense in this one. I think if you need them in a pinch, sure, they're fine. And then Corey Davis has been coming along. He's worth the add in deeper leagues. Ty Johnson, RB3. James Robinson's droppable at this point. And then Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin will leave these guys on the bench. So I'm going to go with Buffalo in this one. But again, I think the Jets proving to be pretty frisky at the moment. Let's move on to Cleveland and Cincinnati. Let's double check the practice reports on Cincinnati. They had a handful of guys here. Hayden Hurst already ruled out in this one. He didn't practice all week. And then you have T. Higgins popped up on the injury report, but he's been limited. They say he's going to go. And then Joe Mixon, full practice all week. So expect him to play in this offense to be at full strength. On the Cleveland side, we have a couple question marks because 2 receivers did not practice today, David Bell and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper didn't practice on Wednesday with a non-injury tag, limited on Thursday, and then downgraded to DNP on Friday. So he's a true questionable decision, and he's probably more doubtful at this point if he's missing practice on Friday. So I don't like this for Amari Cooper. If you have Amari Cooper, we might need to look elsewhere. And then everything else looked pretty good. David Njoku's back for sure. Anthony Schwartz, he's on IR with a concussion, so it's probably looking like a big Donovan Peoples-Jones week. On the Cleveland side, I think Deshaun Watson's only useful as a QB2 in Superflex leagues. You're starting Nick Chubb. Njoku belongs as a tight end 1. And then DPJ, I think even if Cooper plays, like he's not healthy, so Donovan Peoples-Jones might be the wide receiver 1 in this one. And then we'll see. I have David Bell listed down here, but he's already been, again, ruled out. Or he's not looking, he's questionable. So we'll see about David Bell. But we're not going to start anybody else other than DPJ. If Cooper plays, I'm fine with him as a wide receiver 3 flex. Say no to that Browns defense. And maybe if Cooper's out, maybe that means more Kareem Hunt. Maybe, I'm not sure. On the Bengals side, though, it's pretty simple. You're starting all the guys. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd's more of a flex call. He has been playing well. The absence of Hayden Hurst makes me lean towards Boyd being a better play this week than he normally would be. And then Samaje Perine, he's just been so hot. I think with all the bye weeks this week, if you need Perine as a running back too, I'm fine with it. 7 to 10 PPR points seems doable. So yeah, I'm going to lean with the Bengals in this one. It's looking really, really good for Cincinnati at the moment. Houston, Dallas, will be quick with this one. The Houston Texans did not, they did not, they're not going to have Nico Collins and Brandon Cook. So their top two receivers are ruled out. It's not going to be a pretty game here. Davis Mills is officially the starter. But what does that mean for fantasy? Not much. I would tell you to not start a Texan if you can. Dameon Pierce is the only guy that I'm thinking about as a running back 2 flex play. Brevin Jordan, a desperation tight end play. Chris Moore and Philip Dorsett, desperation wide receiver 3 flexes. So try and avoid Texans if you can. It's really only Dameon Pierce, and the game script's going to be pretty ugly, and he might not even be a good play. On the Dallas side, you're starting everybody: Prescott, Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz. Michael Gallup enters the conversation as a nice wide receiver 3 flex. And then Tony Pollard, he's a must start. He's actually a running back 2. I don't put 2 guys on the same line. So Pollard and Zeke, I view them both high as RB2s. And of course, defense of the week is going to be Dallas. Noah Brown, whatever. It's all Dallas on this side. I don't need to get too much into this game. It's going to be a pretty good day for the Cowboys. Moving on to probably my favorite early game of the slate, Minnesota at Detroit. The overall health of these two teams look pretty good. I didn't see anything here offensively for the Vikings on that side, so it looks good there. And then with Detroit's got a lot of DNPs today, but offensively, I think they're going to be just fine. You got DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams both practicing in full. Jameson Williams is back. Khalif Raymond questionable with an illness, which could be good for Jameson Williams. So on the Lions side, I think Jared Goff is probably my streaming quarterback of the week. Again, 6 teams on bye. He should be widely available in most leagues, and he's probably like a top 10, top 12 play this week. So I might even move him up to QB1 on this list. DeAndre Swift is back as a running back 2 for full PPR. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a top 5, top 10 play rest of season. We love what he's doing. Jamal Williams can still be a running back 2 flex. And then DJ Chark, he had a really good game last week, and the week before he caught a touchdown. He's the number 2 receiver here, so I think he can be picked up and flexed if you need it. Say no to the Lions defense, and then we're going to leave all these guys here on the bench. I know a lot of people are excited about Jameson Williams. We are not starting him until we see something first. On the Vikings side, you have Kirk Cousins. He's going to be a low-end QB1. A good matchup here at Detroit. Dalvin Cook, yes, you're starting him. Justin Jefferson, yes. TJ Hawkinson back against his old team. Yes, you're starting him. And then Adam Thielen, I've gotten a ton of questions on Thielen. I do think that he needs to be used as a wide receiver 3 flex. So if you can try and find a way to get him in your lineup. The Vikings defense is startable. I don't love it. But if you're in a pinch and you need someone, I suppose Osborne, Madison, I don't prefer these guys, but Osborne had a big game against these guys back in like week 4 or 5. Ended up with I think the game-winning touchdown. So if you need someone in a deep flex situation, I suppose KJ Osborne could be your guy. And that's it. I'm going to go. This one's a toss-up. Detroit's playing so well. The Vikings haven't really lost many games this season. It could go either way. I think I'm going to go with the Vikings, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Lions win this game. Moving on to the Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. We do need to check the reports on this one because we're not sure if Trevor Lawrence is going to play. Questionable at best right now. He didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. He did get a limited day on Friday, though, so he's on track to play with his toe injury. And then Zay Jones, not sure what to do with Zay Jones. Limited. It's a good matchup. If you need him as a wide receiver 3 flex, I suppose it could be okay. So with the Jags, again, Lawrence, if he plays, he's a quarterback 2 for super flex leagues. I don't know if I love him as a streamer. I'd rather have Jared Goff. ETN should be in our lineups as a running back 2, but we do need to note that the Titans, one of the best teams at stopping running backs from scoring fantasy points. So don't expect a huge game. Try to hit your floors at 8 to 12 PPR points. Christian Kirk needs to stay in our lineups as a wide receiver 2. Evan Ingram can be used as a tight end 1 streamer this week. Tight ends, it's pretty ugly out there for tight ends. And then again, Zay Jones, maybe a wide receiver 3 flex. Say no to the Jags defense. We'll leave Marvin Jones and Hasty on the bench. On the Titan side, no Treylon Burks in this one. They've officially ruled him out already. Let me look at the reports here. They have a lot of DNPs today. So they ruled a handful of players out. A couple cornerbacks, a couple receivers. There's Treylon Burks. But Derrick Henry, full. Ryan Tannehill, full. At least that part of the offense is going to be good to go. So Tannehill, a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. I suppose if you needed to stream him as a QB1, I'm fine with it. Yes, you're using Derrick Henry. And then what do we do with this passing offense? No Treylon Burks. I think Chigo Okonkwo is worth a tight end 1 streamer this week if you need the help there. He has been playing well. He's had 5 targets in back-to-back games. And the weeks before that, he was getting like big plays, like a 41-yard catch, a 31-yard catch, big plays with Okonkwo. And if Burks is gone, he's going to be involved in the passing offense. So I like the usage for Chigo. And then Robert Woods, just kind of a low-end wide receiver 3 flex play, more of a desperation play, but he has played well at times throughout the year. Start that Titans defense, and then we're going to leave these guys here on the bench. I think Jags, they really fumbled it last week against Detroit. They just didn't show up, didn't have a great game. I'm going to lean with the Titans in this one. Moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley, we're not sure if he's going to play. He's listed as limited and limited the last 2 days. There he is. Limited and limited the last 2 days with a questionable neck injury. It's looking like he's kind of doubtful in this one, so I'm not really sure what to do. If he plays, sure, you'll play him. If not, it's going to be Matt Breida called up as the running back 1. Looks like receiver Marcus Johnson ruled out. Adoree Jackson ruled out. So good news for Jalen Hurts and his receivers. Kenny Golladay, Richie James practicing in full. So that's that offense. And then looking at the Eagles, I think they're in good shape. Yep, offense is good shape. So only one guy not practicing, only one guy ruled out. Eagles pretty healthy at the moment. We'll start with the Eagles side. Jalen Hurts, you're using him, no problem. Top 3, top 1 quarterback, like he's a stud. Miles Sanders needs to be in our lineups as a running back too. And then both A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith right now have really capitalized with the absence of Dallas Goedert. So both those guys need to be in lineups. Start that Eagles defense. And then Quez Watkins, we'll see if he plays. Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, just kind of guys on the bench here. This could be a nice Gainwell week if you're in a deeper league and you need a running back too. I do expect the Eagles to probably put up a good amount of points, and maybe they pull the starters in this one. So keep an eye on Kenneth Gainwell. And then on the Giants side, Daniel Jones, it's not a good spot for him as a QB1. He looks like more of a super flex play to me as a 2. I have Saquon Barkley as a running back 2 this week just because, 1, he's injured with the neck injury thing. And it's a tough matchup. The Eagles defense could take away Saquon Barkley's rushing ability. And then really the only guy that I'm okay with is Darius Slayton as like a fringe wide receiver 3 flex play. Say no to the Giants defense. And then Hodgins played well as a receiver. Richie James, Daniel Bellinger could be streamed as a tight end 1 for you if you need it. And then if Matt Breida is indeed the starter, I suppose he's going to be an RB2 flex play. But overall, I'm not trying to start any New York Giants. If I can, I'm going Eagles in this one. Moving on to the Ravens and the Steelers, a couple injury concerns in this one. On the Steelers side, we have Deontay Johnson, limited, did not practice Thursday, and then limited today. So he's a true question mark decision. It looks like Najee Harris is back in full practice, so that's good to see there. Otherwise, that's it for the offenses over here. And then let's look at Baltimore. In Baltimore, of course, Lamar Jackson, he's not playing. Expect him not to play. But everybody else on the offense is fairly good to go here. We might even see J.K. Dobbins in this one. So on the Ravens side, it's Tyler Huntley. He's an interesting streaming quarterback. If you need a QB1, I still prefer Jared Goff as my top streamer this week. But Huntley's probably the next man up there. So if you need someone, I'm okay with Huntley. And then Mark Andrews is really the only guy we're going to use on the Ravens side. Start the Ravens defense. We still like that. But I can't trust Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake, J.K. Dobbins, even Demarcus Robinson and Devin Duvernay. I suppose they could be deeper flexes if you need someone as a wide receiver 3 flex in a PPR format. I think these guys could be fine. Tyler Huntley, he's a functional quarterback. He can move the ball down the field. So I'm okay with those guys. But for the most part, it's Andrews and Huntley. That's about it. On the Steelers side, Pickett, just a low-end QB2 streamer option. Najee Harris, kind of a low-end RB2 play. I don't love Najee Harris in this one. The one guy I do like, though, is Pat Freiermuth. Because if Deontay Johnson doesn't play, Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens are going to be really strong plays this weekend as the top 2 targets in this offense. So you're starting Pat. He's a top 5 tight end. And then again with Pickens, I'm hesitant to play Pickens. The Ravens do allow outside receivers to score points, so it is a good matchup for him. And if Deontay Johnson's banged up and if he doesn't play, Pickens becomes a must start. And then I'm even open to starting that Steelers defense. We'll keep an eye on Jalen Warren. Tough game here. I'm not sure the Ravens can come in here on this no Lamar Jackson game, and if they can win, it's a huge – I mean, they're trying to stay ahead of the Bengals, so they could pull it off, but I think I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. Let's move on to the Sunday late games. Not a fun game here, but we'll go into Kansas City's reports here. Looks like everybody practiced today, which is fantastic. Even Kadarius Toney. So entire bill of health for this team, which is great to see. Kadarius Toney limited. He's a true question mark in this one. And then let's look at Denver. We are expecting Cortland Sutton already ruled out, so that's good news there. We don't have to worry about that. And then Jerry Jeudy, full practice today, so he's good to go. Otherwise, that's really it for fantasy. Nothing else to see here. On the Broncos side, with Cortland Sutton officially ruled out, Jerry Jeudy is a nice wide receiver 3 in this one. You're going to start Greg Dulcich as a tight end 1. I think Latavius Murray's fine as a low end RB2 play. You get your floor of 8 to 10 points. Russell Wilson's only a quarterback 2 in Superflex leagues. It's a decent matchup because we expect the Chiefs to score, which means Denver's going to have to air it out. So I do like Jeudy. I do like Dulcich. Say no to the Broncos defense in this one, and we're going to leave Mike Boone. Cortland Sutton's already out. If you need someone in a deep sleeper, Kendall Hinton can be he's going to be the wide receiver 2 in this one. So it wouldn't surprise me if he gets, double-digit points by the end of this one. On the Chiefs side, you're starting Patrick Mahomes. We have to get the idea that Pacheco is a running back 2 going forward. He's a must start. Travis Kelce, yes. And then what do we do with the receivers here? You have MVS, Juju. These guys are both kind of fringe wide receiver 3 flex plays. MVS seems to make a big play every game. Juju has not really been himself since he got injured. So if you guys do have questions on the Chiefs receivers, I don't love the play, but it's a decent matchup for some of these guys here. And then Jerick McKinnon has looked good. He had probably his best game of the season last week as a PPR running back 2 flex. I like it. And then that Chiefs defense, man, I'm open to using it. They've been one of the popular starts and streams this week. I'm probably not going to play Kadarius Toney if he plays. We'll just take the win if he gets on the field, and then Sky Moore say no. We're going to go with the Chiefs in this one. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Bucks and the San Francisco 49ers. We got a couple injury concerns here on Tampa Bay. Leonard Fournette did not practice on Friday, so questionable. Limited on Thursday with a foot, and then downgraded to DNP. I don't love that. So that is truly a good thing for Rachaad White. Everything else here, you have Tristan Wirfs not playing, Bucs safety Antoine Winfield not playing, as well as Mike Edwards. So the Bucs a little bit banged up on defense. And then if we go to SF, let me look here. Nick Bosa probably not going to play. Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, out, and just a couple other guys here. But otherwise, Deebo Samuel got a full practice in today. So did Christian McCaffrey. Both those guys are trending healthier, so that's great news. Now, what do we do with Brock Purdy? Yeah, he looked fine last weekend. I think he's a quarterback 2 super flex option, and he should be a guy that can get at least a touchdown or 2 in this game. You like Christian McCaffrey, yes. Deebo Samuel needs to continue to stay in our lineups as a wide receiver 2 or 3. And then even with Purdy, I think Brandon Ayuk's going to be a fine wide receiver 3 flex play. And then continue to start George Kittle. You don't really have that much of a choice if you roster him. Start that 49ers defense. We're not scared of this Bucs offense. And then Juwan Jennings. And keep an eye on Jordan Mason. If anything happens to McCaffrey, we're going to be looking at Jordan Mason on the waiver wire. For the Buccaneers, again, let's assume Leonard Fournette doesn't play in this one. That's going to make Rachaad White a pretty solid RB2. It's a tough matchup, but with his receiving workload in a full PPR, I like Rachaad White quite a bit. Tom Brady's just a QB2 in Superflex leagues. Chris Godwin's been the bright spot on this offense of late. So he's like a wide receiver 1. Mike Evans hasn't scored a touchdown since like week 3 or 4. He's more of a wide receiver 3 flex play at this point. I'm open to starting that Buccaneers defense. Again, playing against a rookie quarterback, it could be a nice day for the sacks and the turnovers. And then Cameron Brate expected to play. Julio Jones, leave him on the bench. Cade Otton. I would like Cade Otton if Brate wasn't out there, but that's it. Interesting game here. I think the Bucs have some momentum, and with Brock Purdy just being inexperienced, maybe this one goes to Tampa Bay. I'm going to lean with Tampa Bay in this one. I love the weapons on the 49ers offense, but I think Tom and the Bucs are kind of on the backs against the walls, and we will see what they can do with their best football. Carolina and Seattle. I've gotten so many questions on the Seattle backfield. I would be shocked if Kenneth Walker plays. He didn't practice all week, guys. DJ Dallas also not practicing all week. Interesting, DK Metcalf limited on Thursday, DNP on Friday. So that one's a true game time decision going into the weekend. I don't love when my players downgraded on Friday. And then everything else looks fine. Travis Homer back in full. He's probably the starter in this one. Geno Smith full practice today. And then, yeah, that's about it. And then on the, what's the Carolina side here? I think Carolina is relatively healthy. Yeah, they don't have anybody ruled out. So nothing to see here on Carolina. Deonta Foreman full practice today. So with that being said, Carolina, Sam Darnold is a quarterback 2 option, more of a deeper QB2. You're starting Deonta Foreman. Seahawks aren't really good against defending the run, so I like Foreman a lot in this one. Go ahead and start DJ Moore as a wide receiver 3. And then just because the Seahawks are so bad at stopping the run, Chuba Hubbard is like a low-end running back 2 flex play if he needed. I could see him getting enough touches to be a good play. And then say no to the Carolina defense. We'll leave these guys here on the bench. On the Seahawks side, Geno Smith, keep him in there as a QB1. Tyler Lockett is a wide receiver 1. Yeah, he's playing fantastic. He's on a nice touchdown streak. And then I'm going to have to put a Q next to DK Metcalf. If Metcalf plays, I'm going to play him. If not, that means just Tyler Lockett's looking in for a pretty big target day. And then with Travis Homer here, I'm going to get rid of that questionable tag. I'm probably going to move him up to running back 2. I think he's going to be the guy that gets the most touches. Tony Jones is also going to be in the mix here. He's a desperation flex play if you need it. But I'm going to lean Homer being the guy that gets the majority of touches with Tony Jones mixing in. I'm open to starting the Seahawks defense. Sam Darnold is known to break a few eggs every now and then. And then Noah Fant, if DK Metcalf's out, I suppose Noah Fant can be a tight end 1. I don't love it, though. And then, again, assume Kenneth Walker, DJ Dallas are going to be out. Carolina, man, I mean, if you say no DK Metcalf, that's going to make me lean Carolina a little bit. They're coming off their bye week. They're playing better with Sam Darnold. I'm going to lean Seattle for now, but don't be surprised if Carolina shocks them with this one. Let's finish with the Sunday Night Football game. Let's look at Miami. I believe Jalen Waddle is good to go. Doubtful for River Crocraft. But otherwise, yeah, Jalen Waddle, full practice, back-to-back days. Love to see it. Tyreek Hill didn't practice yesterday. That might have been just a day rest. Full practice today, so good to see there for Miami. And then the Chargers side, we're getting Mike Williams back. On the bad side, though, it looks like Derwin James not going to play. Bryce Callahan probably not going to play. Offensive tackle here not going to play. So the Chargers are banged up at some key positions. But we love this back-to-back full practices for Mike Williams. That's a huge deal. I think he's going to be I'm going to put him in my lineups. I know he kind of burned us the last time he came back prematurely, but I trust him. On the Chargers side, you're starting Herbert, you're starting Eckler, you're starting Keenan Allen. Find a way to get Mike Williams in there. I know he's burned us in the past, but the fact that this already happened to him and he got re-injured, and then the fact that he was practicing in full, doesn't carry an injury tag, that's a really good sign for Mike Williams. So try and find a way to get him in there. Gerald Everett can be a tight end 1, and then Josh Palmer, now that Keenan and Mike are back, he's kind of more of like a fringe wide receiver 3 flex play, more of like a deeper 12-team league play. Say no to the Chargers defense, and we'll leave these guys. Why do I have Mike Evans on here? I'll have to double check that. Not great. On the Dolphins side, you can start Tua Tagovailoa as a top 10 play. You're starting Tyreek, you're starting Waddle. And then the big question with the Dolphins is, who do we use at running back? Raheem Mostert got 7 carries last week. Jeff Wilson got 1. I don't blame you if you don't want to use either one of these guys, but you have to acknowledge the Chargers are really bad at stopping the run. So I think both guys are viable as running back 2 flexes. If I had to choose one, I'll go with Raheem Mostert. He's fresher. He got more carries last week, got more snaps, and he ran more routes. So I'm leaning Raheem Mostert being the better play. Let me know if you have Dolphins RB questions. Say no to the Dolphins defense. We'll leave these guys here on the bench. My heart wants to pick the Chargers. My head wants to go with the Dolphins. I'm gonna lean LA Chargers. They're in must-win territory. They're at home. We'll see if they can get back into the playoff race. And then we're going to finish up here with the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. On the Patriots side, Damian Harris probably not going to play, back-to-back DNPs. Jacoby Myers probably not going to play, back-to-back DNPs as well. On the Cardinals side, did DeAndre Hopkins get back? Hopkins got a full practice in today. He didn't practice yesterday with an illness. Greg Dortch is going to play, and it looks like Rondale Moore is on track to not play with back-to-back DNPs. Everything else looks fine. On the Patriots side, it's a good matchup for the Patriots offense. I think Mac Jones is fine as a QB2 option. You're starting Ramondre Stevenson, no Damian Harris. Even if Damian Harris does play, like Ramondre is still a top 10 running back. And then I have Jacoby Myers in there as flex. I'm probably going to pull him down and put up Devontae Parker and Nelson Aguilar as flex play. So if you need a receiver for Monday Night Football, those would be the 2 that I'm looking at. And then Hunter Henry. The Cardinals are like the worst team against defending tight ends. So both Parker, Aguilar, and now Hunter Henry are going to be moved up into my flex spots. That defense is startable for the Patriots. I don't love it, but if you're in a pinch, I'm fine with it. And then the Cardinals, Kyler Murray remains a top 10 QB. You're going to start James Conner. You got to start DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown. But after that, it's slim pickings here. I have a maybe next to the Cardinals defense. I'm going to change that to no. We're going to assume Rondale Moore probably not playing. We're not trusting Trey McBride. Greg Dortch is an interesting deep flex play if you need someone. And then go ahead and stash Keontae Ingram if you need a running back at the end of your bench, because James Conner hasn't really been the perfect bill of health throughout his career, and he'd be next man up. So fun game here. I'm going to lean the Patriots. I know it's on the road here, but I trust Bill Belichick more than I trust Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury at the moment. So that's it. That's the week 14 fantasy preview here. If you guys are still with me, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video. If you're on Twitch, give us a follow, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'm not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow night. I have a Christmas event party to go to, but I will be going live Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, about an hour and a half before the game starts. So if you want to come hang out with us in the morning, come do so. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We'll see you later. Peace.